Hello, friends. It's that time again. It's time for DD2 Live PD. On today's session, we have Microsoft Teams managing assignments. On today's session, teachers will learn how to create an assignment in Teams, set due dates, score, and return assignments. All Dorchester 2 staff with the district email address will benefit from this session, but especially classroom teachers will today. Let's take a look at our live PD team. We have lead featured presenter today, Anna Musselman. Thanks to our producer, Lara Hayes, and our Q&A moderators, Callie Neal, Lexi Vick, Mary Push, and we also have Patrick Dunn. The attendee experience. Remember, attendees, no microphone or webcam is ever needed for you. Only presenters share audio and video, and you'll use the Q&A feature to ask questions. Certification. Please be sure you are signed into your device. Your login identifies you and allows us to easily award tech and renewal credit. By joining the live PD today, you automatically register in ERO. Today, you'll earn 1 hour of technology proficiency credit and 1 hour of renewal credit. You'll receive that credit in ERO within 48 hours of the completion of the webinar. You can join the DD2 Microsoft Online PD team at any point. It's available in your Microsoft team. You can watch live PD recordings of previous sessions. So if you miss out today, maybe you have to leave early or you want to go back and watch a session we've done before, they're all available for you. You can enjoy these anytime, anywhere. Access to PD resources are available. Your internet connection is important. The quality of streaming audio and video may depend on your internet connection. Ensure you have either a hardline internet connection or a strong Wi-Fi signal. Friendly reminder, all session participants are registered to win a $10 gift card at the end of each of our sessions. And also remember, if you attend all 3 sessions each week, you are registered to win a $25 gift card, thanks to Canty Technologies. Last week, we would like to congratulate Letitia Buick from Beach Hill Elementary School. She attended all 3 sessions last week, and she was the winner of our $25 Canty Technologies Amazon gift card. We are so excited that you're here. The live PD session is about to begin. Before we do, let's tell you what's coming up the rest of this week. Today, again, we've got Microsoft Teams managing assignments. Tomorrow, we have Microsoft Teams with Power School Sync. So how do you take all these quizzes and assignments and assessments that you've been building and get them to go directly in your gradebook? Tomorrow, you'll find out. And then on Thursday, we have Microsoft Teams, rubrics, and feedback. All right, so let's get started. Our featured presenter today is Anna Musselman with Microsoft Teams managing assignments. Anna, let's head over to you.
Thanks very much, Shelley. Hi, everybody. So glad you could join us this weekend. I'm going to share my screen now so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay. Whoops. Let's get to my team. Here we are. Okay. So we're going to be doing managing assignments today. And for this to work very well, you need to have a class in Power School. I do not, so I made up a team with some teachers at my school, and the assignments, their grades are no reflection on how well they could have done. I asked them to just put anything in there. So if it looks like, how would somebody not know that? Not because they tried hard and didn't make it. So thanks for my team of helpers. Before we start, here's what you'd see with all of your teams. There are a couple of ways to start an assignment. I'll show you one way that I don't really like, and I'll tell you why, and then we'll go to the one that I do like. Over here on the left-hand bar, you can see assignments. If you click here, the first thing it's going to ask you is, what team do you want to start an assignment in? Well, here's my pretend class with Practice 2020. If I click it and go next, I'm ready to do all kinds of assignments. However, look up here. This tells me what team I'm in, but there's no icon. I might not even notice this up here and start putting things in the wrong team. I'm just telling you what life is like at my house. So for me, I don't tend to go here to start it. What I tend to do is open the team that I want to put the assignment in. So here's my practice 2020. Take a look at it now. When I'm within the team and start an assignment, I've got this icon here. It kind of reminds me where I am, but it's your call. You can either open an assignment here, start one, find one, grade one, or you can open your team. And here is where I would find assignments. So in my team, at the top of my bar here, I have assignments. So when I click that, it's a tiny, little bit smaller window here than I had before, but I still like having my icon there to remind me that I'm in the right place. So here are some assignments that I've already made up for my class of 5 kids here. And I wanted to show you 3 categories. You've got drafts, assigned, and then down here, graded. The assigned ones are the ones that are due today or after today. If I had had some assigned that maybe hadn't been graded yet, I'd have a little warning here, 4 other assignments, and I could click and open it up. But my lovely class has these that are due today and on the days to come, so that's what shows. If I open up drafts, these are ones that I have started. I made them up a little bit, but I haven't assigned them yet, so the kids can't see these. I can do whatever I like with them. I can continue to modify. I decide maybe I don't want to do this quiz to be named whenever. I can discard it, or I can make a couple of changes to it, add my rubric, do some things, decide on a due date, and then save it again. And this assignment, the quiz to be named whenever, just stays parked up here in drafts. The kids can't see it yet. I may end up never using it. It just sort of hangs out there. These are the ones that I have sent to my students. So I've already assigned them. It's sitting in their team waiting to be done. And way down here, I have a graded category. I've graded one and returned it to my students. So that one usually stays collapsed. The drafts usually stay collapsed because really this is what I'm going to be working with on a day-to-day basis. Now, the first time you open the assignments up here at the top on the bar, it will say, a welcome message, get started. But since I've already started, it immediately comes up with drafts, assigned, and graded. Remember, I'm up here on the assignments. So let's go ahead and start creating an assignment to give to my Practice 2020 team. The Create button, if you click it, you've got 3 ways to create an assignment. Creating an assignment, creating a quiz, or grabbing something I already created in another team, in another class. We'll do all 3 of those. I'll take you through assignment first because that's going to be the most detailed. Once you get all of that squared away, the quiz and from existing looks pretty easy. So we're going to come up here and start a brand new assignment. We get a couple of things to fill out. So I've got my title. We're going to be doing some ELA. So I've got a haiku poetry assignment. Category can be very helpful when you're trying to filter, and I'll show you filtering later. I've done a couple of categories already, as you can see. This haiku poetry, I'm going to put in ELA classwork. I could do a new category. I'm not sure I want to because I want you to see how there are a couple, but I could call it poetry unit. I could call it homework. I could call it quizzes. So I'm just going to put this haiku in ELA classwork. All it does is help filter. It doesn't talk to your PowerSchool gradebook or anything. This is purely for your sort of organization. Instruction can be as long and as detailed as you like. You can see I've got a lot of tools up here. I've already written some instructions. I'm going to copy them and paste them in here. So they're going to be using information in a document, sort of a resource document, to learn about haiku. Then I'm going to give them 2 links with some haiku poetry. They're going to read them, copy and paste them, and put them into a document that I can then score. So these instructions are going to have resources right here. So I've got my category, I've got my directions. I'm going to add some resources now, and there's 2 kinds that you can do. First of all, I can upload them from a number of places, including my computer. And I actually saved them on my computer, so that's what I'm going to do. But you could grab them from OneDrive. I know lots of teachers that do assignments just from the OneDrive. Both of those work just fine. But in order to be speedy, I put them in my little folder here. So I want to give the students my information. So I'm going to click that one. I also want to give them the haiku submissions. That's where they're going to send me their 2 choices. So 2 documents to go to them. Click open. And they're all uploaded. Now we get to something that's kind of important. I've got 2 documents here. This one is all about haiku poetry, what it is, where it came from. That's sort of a reference information. This one is where I want them to submit me their favorites and 2 that they wrote themselves. Well, they can't if it says student can't edit. So I come over here, and now I would like them to be able to edit that. When they open it in their team, they can open this no problem, scroll through it, read it, but they can't edit it. There's no changes that they can make or should make to that. It's really just my information. This one, if they open it, they can edit it, copy and paste things, write things. So that's 2 different ways to send them. Now I will tell you a little something that was distressing. When I was practicing this, I had a Gizmo student exploration guide saved, and when I uploaded it, I wanted the kids to be able to type their data. I couldn't get it to edit. So there might be a little hiccup if you try to post something, a Word document, that's all it was, and I couldn't get it to edit. In that case, I would have had to copy and paste it into a new document. So there might be some hiccups along the road, but these worked beautifully. This is for the student to see. This is for the student to type on. I also want to add links. So I can come here to a link. I have the website saved. Paste it in here. This one is called the Read Poetry site. Whoops, that didn't work. Try that again. Technical difficulties, hold a moment. There we go. So this is my Read Poetry site. It's a website that kids can get to. And I have another poetry site. You could add as many links as you like. Copy. This one is Earth Link. And this is still just me building my assignment. So at the top, remember we started here, we went to create an assignment, titled it, gave it a category, had some instructions, things that kids can read, things the kids can type on, things that they can go search for poetry. I would like to show you one more. Maybe I'll add it just to see. If you click New File, it just gives you a blank something. There's no directions on it from you. You could, I guess, paste something if you wanted to do that for that problem I had with the Gizmo doc. But any of these can be just pasted into the assignment blank. If you wanted them to start their own PowerPoint presentation, they wouldn't have to go find it and upload it. It just puts it in there. So it's free. Why don't we? Haiku, oops. I misspelled it. So not really sure what they're going to build a PowerPoint, but let's just attach it since it is free of charge. Now this student's going to have a blank PowerPoint. So those are all resources. Oh, look at there, I am limited. So there's resources that the students will be using in their presentation or in their haiku project. Down here, I'm going to make it worth 100. You can add a rubric if you like. Here is where you can decide where to assign it. So if you have a couple of biology classes or a couple of math classes, you can pick all the teams that will get this particular assignment. I only want it to go to my Practice 2020 team. Here, I can decide what students will get this haiku assignment. This only works if you're in one team. Earlier, When I went here, if I pick multiple teams, I don't believe I can pick what students. So if it's only going to be for a couple of students, pick it out of one team. Down here on the due date, you have some options to decide. The default one is it's going to post immediately, and you'll allow kids to turn it in late. This edit button gives you some options. I could decide to assign it so that it doesn't show up until next Monday. I can change the due date to next Friday. I can have a closing date maybe in 2 weeks where after this date, you're not allowed to turn it in at all. So those are all options that you may decide. Maybe this day is the last day of the quarter. So after that, so sorry, you're not turning that in. You can hide it or keep it in drafts, your option. But this way it will appear on the day that you decide it will appear. So for me, I would like it to be due on Friday at midnight. So now I have everything filled in, checking my notes, making sure I didn't leave anything out. I did. So at the very bottom, you see mine is blank here. That's because I have no classes in PowerSchool as an ITS. But as a classroom teacher, you will have one more thing at the bottom. Underneath the due date where we just were, you'll have the option to sync it with PowerSchool. That is not going to be covered today. That will be tomorrow's live PD. So stay tuned. Come back in 24 hours and you will learn how to do the PowerSchool sync. That appears on this assignment page right at the bottom. So once you've built it, you can decide what options you need for the PowerSchool sync. Up at the top, I have my 3 options. If I decide this is not going to be an assignment I want, I can discard it. Saving it puts it in my draft category. I want to assign it. So here it sits. Haiku poetry, also due on the 15th. If I decide to make a change, I always have the option to open it. So I click it. Maybe I clicked it too quickly. But up here, I've got options. Yes, thank you. Up here, I have options. I can edit the assignment, change the due date, take away that PowerPoint that I wanted, and I can see what the students will see. So when the students open it, they have their instructions, they have their reference materials, and I'll be showing you this later on a student's. And here's what they'll be typing on. So you can see the student view as well when you are on editing the, I've already created, it's been sent to these students. Of course, no one's turned it in yet, and there have been no grades. So this is what it will look like. If I go back, brings me to my assignment list once again. So I've created an assignment from scratch. We did that down here in the Create button when we're on the Assignments tab. There's a couple more things you can create though. We can create a quiz. This will be much easier since we've already done the whole assignment. You can see I have here some quizzes that are in my forms on O365. Well, I made up a quiz called 4 Little Questions. It already exists in my O365. I can click here and send it to this class. You also have the option of building a new one. If you did the live PD last week, you know how to make a new form, a new quiz, or a survey. But since I've already created it, I'm going to just attach my 4 little quiz questions. And next. This looks exactly like we had on the last one where we had an assignment. It fills in my title based on what my forms was. I can enter instructions. So whatever instructions, take it before Thursday. It attaches the form here. It's already been assigned points because when I created it, I made it worth 100 points on forms. I can again do multiple teams if I like. I can pick the students that I want, and my my due dates are here. If I had a PowerSchool class, I would have my PowerSchool sync here. So that's pretty much going to be all that you have to do if you have that quiz. I'm going to assign this 2020. Yep. Now my assigned list is getting quite long. I've got several things that are due this week that are sitting out there. The last one I want to show you for Create is from existing, and you'll have to keep an eye on something because it only flashes for a moment. If I go from existing, It's going to make a copy of something that I've already used. So if I come up here to my GAP practice team, when we were just learning teams, I can see assignments that I used, and you can see here I'm going to reuse something. So if I want them to do the filters at work lab, this was back in December. I click it. Now it'll say copying, so you'll have to watch. Up here, it's copying the assignment. So once it's copied over, I can edit this. I could change this from a lab to something else. I can add a category. I can type new instructions for it, but I've got all the options that a regular assignment would have, and it does not bother the one that I have set up in my GAP practice class because it is making a copy. It's taking its own sweet time to make a copy, but it is making a copy. Maybe I should have picked a shorter assignment. Okay, so now I can change the name if I want to. I can change my directions. This is a Word document that does not change. I can add different resources and set that all up. So I'm going to discard this because I don't really want it, but that was another way to make an assignment or pull an assignment from someone else. Everything we've done so far is here on assignments under create. Assignment was the long first one that we did. Quiz is the one that I pulled from forms, and then from existing copies something, leaves it alone where it usually existed or used to exist, and then I have a clean copy to use in my new team. So those are all the created ones. So I've got lots of these here. What I'd like to do next is show you the student view. We can take some quizzes so you can see how it looks from a student, and then we'll come back and I'll show you some grading and how you're going to grade. So let me come to my pretend student. You'll notice they've got an activity notice here. That's because they have work to do. Here, this is Brandy Miller's Teams page. She let me borrow it for today. It shows here she has a 1 and she has an activity notice. If I come here, there's been an assignment loaded in practice. So here's that haiku. I'm going to come to my teams and practice. So we're still, you can look up here, this is Ms. Miller's face, and here her teacher has posted a new assignment. So let's see how that looks. Here's the assignment. It gives her directions here. It's got her points possible. This is what I wanted to point out. This is kind of nice. These are reference materials. These are things she cannot edit. Down here is where she is going to submit some things, and then she can even add a new document. She can add a Word document, PowerPoint, anything like that. Although I've given her a blank one here if I wanted to make if I wanted my students to make a pretty presentation with their haiku, choose artwork, she's got a blank one here. She doesn't have to go find one. So let's take a look at the information doc. She clicks on it and it opens right up in her Teams. Doesn't take her out anywhere. She's still on her team. I could open it in the desktop app. That means it would download to her computer, but she can't edit this unless she downloads her own copy. You'll see a difference on the next one. So here are all the directions. She can scroll through. She can read. The immersive reader, which we've talked about before, that one is available on anything you do really with Microsoft Teams. So she reads, she learns about them. Up here is close. She's still got 2 links to look at. This opens a brand new tab at the top, so it took her away from Teams. She can look through here, find haikus that she likes. She can leave that open and open the next one. 2 tabs open now. She can flip through, see which one she likes. She can copy and paste them. Let's say this is the one she wants. Copy. She could open the PowerPoint. I'm just going to open this one down here. So this says reference materials. We may come back to that. My work here, this is where I wanted her to open and paste her document. I created this thinking that I wanted the students to see this. So here is her first. Coming up here, she has to edit it. I think I would recommend in the browser because then they can't lose it on their desktop. So if she's editing it in the browser, all of her word commands can come up here. She's got one haiku. I hit enter and paste. Ooh, oh, I know, it was all in white type. Ooh. Come up here. So there's her idea of a haiku. She can make all of this pretty. And she can continue. She can write her attempts. Down here, she's been writing. Notice this, saving. Automatically saves. The student cannot lose it. If I delete, bring the author's name up a little closer. Saving, saving, saving. When it's all finished saving, she needs to come up here and close it. But that's not all, and this is something I would want the kids to note. I would show them the first time, you can't just close it. Now it's sitting in your pile. I need you to add it to my pile so I can grade it. So she's got her submissions here. She's ready to turn in. Once she clicks turn in, it comes to the teacher's box. There's always a cute little animation, which I kind of like. If she has forgotten to do her second haiku, she could jump back in and do a second haiku. I'm going to go back. Now her haiku has come down here because she's already finished it. So haiku, these are all the things she has turned in for me. Here's one that she has not done yet. Hang on, I need to go back to my teacher one to make sure. But here is one that has been assigned that she has not turned in. She has viewed it, and I'll show you how I know that in a moment, but she hasn't turned anything in. These have all been completed. So she only has two categories, assigned and completed. Okay, so we're done with the student view right now. I'm going to go back to grading. I'm sorry, before I do that, for students, remember we're still in my students one, they can see grades here right next to their assignments. So she can see that she is missing the noun project. She has turned in two things. She's gotten a grade back for one of them. So here are things that are still to be graded. This one's not going to be graded because it does not have turned in. So this is on the student view. That can be pretty handy that she can see here's what's on my plate. Here's the grades and what I haven't yet turned in. This also shows that it has not been turned in. Okay, so we're going to minimize that one. Now I'm back on, if you look up here, I'm back on the teacher view. So we're going to come back to my assignments. Assigned is here. 5 out of 5 have been turned in. None of these have been turned in because that's the one I just assigned. 3 out of the 5, none have been turned in, again, because I just assigned it. First thing I want to show you is the noun project. When I click on this, I have graded one of them. Look at these 2 columns here, and I'll show you another one later where they've all been graded, but I've got 4 yet to grade. 1 I've already looked at and graded and returned. So if I click on here, this one has been returned to the student so Chris can see his work. Let me come back to the to grade pile. I'd like you to see this one here. If I click on turned in, it opens just Tyron's work. I gave them a blank Word document and the directions were go to the noun project, find an icon you like, paste it, and upload it. So this is the one that he has picked as his best example. It was a very easy assignment. He did it perfectly. So if I scroll down here, I can see points. I'm going to give him a 100 for that. When I click return, Tyron gets a notice in his chat feature that he has a message and it says that he has returned work. So I will return that. And at the top, you can see I can go to the next student or previous student. So you could just click through each of your students with these buttons right here. I've already graded Chris. He picked a great one for Yellow Jackets for Gap. I don't see anything here. He has not turned it in. See here on student work, and if I close this, you can also see Corey and Brandy have viewed it but have not yet turned it in. If I go to Mary Kay's, I wanted to show you this one. When I open it, it's the Word document open, but I don't see anything. And at first I was thinking, uh-oh, she turned it in, but she turned it in blank. She apparently has gone ahead and uploaded it on a different form, which is okay because I can see it over here. First I was concerned. When I click here, there we go. So even though it wasn't on the form that I was expecting, this tech-savvy person has figured out how to send it. So I come down to the bottom, a 100, and then I return it. I'm going to close this. Notice what's happened to my graded. I'm still on the noun project. Graded 3, 2 have not been graded. Let's just pretend that I'm going to give them a 0 for this. Now I've got checks here. I can uncheck them if I like. This return button works when you have these selected. When I was doing it one at a time, I could immediately type in the grade and hit return. But if I just, all these kids here that haven't turned it in, I'm giving them a 0. I'm going to select all these kids and return it. I can always go back later and change the grade once they make up the work. Putting a 0 in there reminds the kids, it shows them a low score. Ooh, all of a sudden my 93 average is down at a 56. I have a 0, let me go fix that. They can always go back in, open it up, do the assignment, and I have the power to change the grade right here, and it changes instantly. There was something else I wanted to show you on quizzes. I'm going to click on this quiz to grade, and I'm going to go to Tyrants because I wanted to show you something rather urgent. So if I look here, I'm going to open up Tyrants and go to the last questions because that's where I noticed the problem. I typed this question, and here was the answer I was thinking the kids would put, the Bill of Rights. Well, Tyron only typed in Bill of Rights, which is correct, just left off the the. The forms says this answer does not match what the student put, so we're marking it wrong. When you did the course last week with Amy, she showed you guys that sometimes you do need to go back and look at these. Very important. So definitely Tyron should get 20 points for this. And then anything else that he's typed that I might want to change, auto-graded, it really wasn't 1830s, it was 1800s, so I'm going to leave that one alone. And remember, you can also click here for the next student or back. But now I've changed his grade back down there, and that's, whoops, it'll come up, oh, refresh. So this is showing with it starting to change it, so I click refresh. Sometimes when you post an assignment, you might want to refresh it too, so that that'll kind of bring you a clean copy. And, oh, I wanted to show you comments. This is a lab. If I come here to Chris Hensley's, I've actually already graded his. You come down here, you got a 97. This was a lab. They were recording data, taking down measurements, and then down here we had questions. Well, when I'm grading a paper lab, I write all over them. You can also write. This bold right here is a comment that I put on Chris's paper. To do that, it's open in a Word document. All I need to do is click edit. This might be laborious. You might, if you're old school, just find it faster to grade on paper, but there is a way to leave comments on this one. So here I am making comments. I maybe highlight them if they're correct. You have the option to turn them red if they're wrong. What I did was come here and typed bold, and I made my comments bold and highlighted what I did not like. So he just said pan. Really, the important thing about the pan was to control what size it was. You couldn't have different sized pans in this lab. So I've made a bold comment and highlighted. Down below, he had a great answer here, so I put that in bold. If you are so inclined, you could, oops, hang on. There we go. You could make it red if you wanted to make all your comments in red. For me, bold was faster because it was right up here. Your kids will get used to whatever you decide to do. So all the comments from this student, I put in bold. His answers are not in bold. That way he can spot them. And I've got my points here, could enter feedback, excellent work, and they will be able to see that. Another thing, that when you open a student's work, you can view their history because they can open it after you have graded it, but this right here will show when I return it. So if they try to go back in, it shows after it was returned, the student opened it up again. That should prevent anybody from trying to go back in and go, wait, I did write size of pan. They could erase my highlighter. That makes me a little nervous, but you have this history available here when you have the student's work open. So I'm going to go and return that. And close that. One other thing. Okay, I told you about returning with the checkbox. Okay. What we're working in right now is assignments, but it might be much easier for you to come over here to grades. If you click in the grades section, this looks more like a traditional grade book. This is helpful, especially now in distance learning, if you've got maybe due dates that are a little bit fluid and you don't want to have to look at every single kid on the assignments page. You can do a gradebook option here where you can scroll and see, oh, the kids have turned it in. I know I had already graded 2 of these kids here, but it looks like some more kids have turned them in. These 3 buttons will let you click and just see the student's work. This Villi Lab, I grade, score. Missed some stuff. We're giving him an 85. And then when I return it and close it, now for the Villi, I've got my 85 for Corey and 2 more. If you wanted to, you could do the click from student to student again. Up here, I've got my arrows. I can go forward. If I know that the very next student is one that hasn't turned it in yet, I can click right to that one and grade that one as well, or go backwards. The thing you need to remember is when you're in this view, you're going to have to edit the document before you can type in it. If you want to make comments, mark things wrong, highlighter shows up. Oops, I didn't edit document. Highlighter shows up very well if you want to sort of have that as a traditional, this is how I mark things wrong. Could a pink be wrong? You'll set up whatever works for you and your students. And then down here, I give a score, return it, and close. So now I'll have all my grades here. What we're looking at now is just grades. That's sort of a grade book view, if you will, and you can see everyone that's done some work. So come back here to assignments, scrolling down here. Oh, the only way this will show up is if all of them have been turned in. That kind of gives you the check mark. If there's still some that need to be graded, then those will stay up here until you've returned all the assignments. If I come to here, if I've reviewed all of my typewritten ones, I would love to return them, but this is grayed out. So I have to come here, select them all, or some, if you only want to select some, and then I come here. Once I click return, my 2 columns that have to grade and graded, those will change up. Oops, that's my early American quiz. So now, those are all graded and returned to kids. I think it's kind of handy having that closed like this. And oops, didn't want to do that. Another thing to look at is when you are in the graded, you can export all of these scores to Excel. I'm not really sure if that's going to be something that you want to maybe print and have as a hard copy. Depends on whether you prefer the paper or just keeping them here on Teams. That's entirely up to you, but I wanted to show you that you do have that option up here to export into Excel and print or save it as another copy. All right, so just to review, you can get to assignments here, where you can open the practice. Assignments show up here, 3 ways to create them. They look very similar once you get them opened. You can always save an assignment into drafts instead of assigning it, but once you assign it, the kids can see it here and can work on it. You can open assignments by clicking here, or up here on grades, it looks a little bit more like a grade book view, and you can either do one by one, or you can just click through at the top of each one and click to next student, next student, next student, and then scrolling over to see what else you have options. All right, Lara, I'm looking at my notes. I think I'm doing fairly well. I think I've covered everything that I needed to. I wanted to make sure to leave time for questions in case there were any that you wanted me to demonstrate on the big screen. I'm looking at my notes.
All right, Anna, thank you for showing us managing assignments. I'm sure that's helped a lot of people today, especially with our distance learning stuff that we're going to. So I know some people did ask about the PowerSchool Sync. We wanted to remind you that tomorrow's live event will be on the PowerSchool Sync, and Jen Sauer will be showing us how our assignments will transfer to PowerSchool. Anna, we've also had a lot of questions about copying an assignment. Can you by any chance show how you can maybe assign to multiple classes?
Yes. Okay, so I wonder if I want to, let me edit the 4 little questions. I'm not sure if I can edit it and send it to multiple classes, but we're going to give it a whirl. If not, I'll show you how to do it from scratch. Oh, that's unusual. I thought it was already distributed. So we will pull back. Let's do the villi, edit assignment. Okay, because I've already created this one and told it I only want it to be in one class, it won't. So let's go ahead and make up a new assignment, which no problem at all. So cancel that, go back. Okay, starting a new assignment. We're going to send this to multiple teams. Okay, so down here, I guess I could add a resource. We will do haiku submissions again. Done. All right, so no directions. I'm going to change this to yes, they can edit. It's not really important. So here is my multiple teams. I want first, second, and third period to get it. So I'm going to type my gap practice and trash promptly. They both have check marks. So these are the classes that it's going to go to in addition to my practice team. I'm in practice 2020. It's going to 3 classes. Practice 2020, which I'm in, plus my practice team, plus trash promptly. I can uncheck if I need to. Then I come here. There's no ability to go to a few students in 3 classes. I can go to a few students if I select one team, but the minute I put multiple teams together, I can't specifically pick a student. So I've got 3 teams, 3 classes that this is going to. I can click assign. And now I'm going to have a lot more haiku poetry. Oh, no need to do. Here it is. I'm wondering if all my students will show up in all. Brandy's actually in 2 of those classes. So this only shows these teachers and students. I'm not sure why my other ones did not show up, but that is how you do it. I'm wondering if my gap practice team, if I've deleted those students because that was in the fall. But that is how you would do multiple classes. It's in the assignment when you first set it up, name, directions. There's a spot to say what classes, what teams will get this assignment, and you can pick as many as you like.
Right, thank you. And there's another, there's someone asking if you can show what the student feedback perspective looks like. So when the teacher gives feedback, what does the student see?
Let me see if I think I can turned in. This is villi. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to come, oh, see, this is feedback here, well thought out answers. If I come down here and I highlight this, oops, edit document, edit in browser. If I want to mark this, ooh, wake up. I want to mark this as something that I need to pull her attention to. Not really. Try again. or whatever comment. I'm going to make this bold so that she sees it. The highlighter shows her that she needs to look at it. Here's the feedback. I'm going to give her, let's do 96. Okay. And close. It may take a hot minute to get to Brandy's page. Let me refresh. Remember this refresh button up here gives her the most up-to-date look. Here is her completed work. The Villi Lab is sitting here. It's been returned. So here is her work. I'm clicking on My Villi Lab. There's my highlighter and Not Really, Try Again. I'm looking for where I wrote good job. I wonder if it's on her grades. Here it is. Very well thought out answers. I really should have put the hyphen between thought and out. Sorry about that. So here's the feedback that was in that box next to her assignment. For her to see the notes on my assignment, she had to open up the Villi. Here's her grade. Oops. Here is her grade right here. And to see what she got wrong or why I only got 96 out of 100, she opens up this document. And whatever method you and your students decide on, a highlight, a red. I know one of my teachers has red. His comments are red. I made mine bold just because it was faster.
All right, thank you. There have been a lot of questions about sharing assignments between teachers.
Ooh.
And I know, so a lot of people have been asking about that, but they are only limited to your team. But
I believe so.
Some of the suggestions have been, though, you can share your documents and resources through OneDrive, and then the teacher itself will have to create the assignment.
The assignment. So I could give my fellow ELA teachers the haiku info and the haiku submissions. And remember, haiku submissions was just a blank document so that I could show 1 and 2. Now create your own 1 and 2. This is easy to share in OneDrive. And then the teacher that wanted to use that would have to put that in their own assignment. There's no way I could make an assignment on a different teacher's team. So these are if you think about it, when you're looking at all your teams, I can't see anybody else's but my own. So this would be first period, second period, third period. Those are the only ones that I can make assignments for. And that's up here. Oh, filter. So up here, remember I told you about the categories, that you can set up categories. If I click here, I can choose what sort of tag, what category I want to look at. If I was end of the quarter and I had a whole lot of classwork, I could filter just classwork or just homework, or I only want to see labs. And again, these aren't tied to anything in PowerSchool. They can be yours and yours alone. You can make up as many as you like, and they can be something to suit you. Classwork can be different from quizzes. Classwork could be different from labs. So this will only take, I've already graded them all, but before, whoops, let me take my tag off by clicking the X. I had a couple of different categories up here. This will filter them. I can see where if you had, especially if you're an elementary school teacher and you had science and ELA and math and all of those down here, having a filter would be helpful. If you are a middle school or a high school teacher, you might want to have only my tests showing up right now, or only my quizzes showing up right now for bio or for 8th grade social studies. So the filter up here is going to filter for you. Oh, you hold over it, it says category filters. And those are the little tags that you made up. If I come up here and edit, remember you can click on any assignment and make changes. It will notify the students that a change has been made. So if I click this to Science Labs and update, the kids will get a little notion. This is my no need to do assignment. I'll show you what it looks like on Brandy's if I update. She immediately in her feed gets a little activity notice that this is the one that shows it's returned. I think if I refresh, it will show. I may have come too quickly, but this assignment, the no need to do, if I make a modification to it, it does let the students know a modification was made. I think that's the plus of having assignments that you don't want the kids to see yet to be saved in your drafts, because I could make changes all day to these, fine-tune them, add a new resource, and the students see nothing. There's no notification. If I make a change to these, it does note on the kids feed, hey, such and so has been modified. Not how, just that it has been modified.
All right, and Anna, we have one more thing. Someone would like to know, can you talk about the student edit versus cannot edit feature again?
Certainly can. So I'm going to come up here to one of my drafts. So send me a snip. This is where I first started. So here's directions, blah, blah, blah. Adding resources. You can pull resources from a number of places. This is my OneDrive. If I open up this file here and I want them, let me find a Word document. Ooh, blended learning procedures. Ooh, that would be a lot of fun. Let's not do that one. Here's a getting started guide. Now I clicked on it and now I can't see it anymore. This startled me at first, but if I scroll, I can see a check mark. So if you click it and you're thinking, hey, it pushes you back up to the top, but if you scroll down, you can see I've added this to my, my resources, and I want to do another one. Let me see if I can find ITS guide. So I'll click this one as well. It disappeared. I went to the top, but if I go down, I have check number 1 and I have check number 2. So I'm going to put both of these as papers on my assignment. It's going to load them in a minute. The note underneath each of these documents says students cannot edit it. So the children will not be able to click on a pencil and add anything. These 3 dots, yes, I want them to be able to type on this, and yes, I want them to be able to type. So when they open these, they will have an edit pencil. They can cut, they can paste, they can type in, they can write answers, anything that they want. When they open the assignment, it'll have it under a heading that says My Work. I guess I could assign this to Practice 2020, and then I can show you what it looks like on Brandy's. I think that was Send Me a Snip. So I'm coming to her team. Here's her Practice 2020. It may have to go to space before it gets to her to-do list. Come on. Oh dear, Send Me a Snip is past due. So when she opens this, both of these are listed under My Work, which means I, Brandy, can type on these. She can open this up. She clicks the edit pencil, edit in browser. It'll open up the word commands up here. And now her edits are happening. So she can add all of her stuff. She has changed the document. It looks great. Now she closes it and she has to turn it in. It does let her know it's late, but she is getting her work in. It'll turn in what she typed on here. I'll review it again. When you open it and you come down here to add resources, again, it can come from your OneDrive or it can come from an upload on this device. Here's the haiku submissions again. The default is they can't do anything. She can open this, but she can't type on it. These 3 dots, now she has a copy that can be modified to suit her, and then she will close and turn in.
Hey, Anna, can you show now, though, whenever Brandy, you've returned it back to Brandy and graded her assignment, what Brandy will see on her end?
Mm-hmm. Let's go to one that's been completed. Let's use the villi because that one was a Word document that she had to type. So she's got her grade. It was under her completed. If I go back, sorry, I clicked that very quickly. These are ones she hasn't done yet. Here are the assignments she has completed and gotten a grade for. She could come up here and look at her grades as well. This is the student view. She could look at her grades. If you want to see what the teacher said, I can click on Villi. Brandy sees her score. She has her reference material. These were the lab directions. Here is my work, which was graded. As I scroll down, I can see what the teacher says was not correct. Any comments? I only made that one comment there, but any kind of comment that I had down here, she can see my highlighter or my red or my bold or whatever the teacher decides will be that communication clue. And then when I close it, I can see my score. Here's the teacher's feedback. That was done in the box. The teacher were next, right above where I typed in the grade, the 96, there was a box for feedback. And I typed out that it was well thought out. Is that helpful, I hope?
Yep, that's helpful. Just curious though, Anna, is there, if once the teacher grades an assignment and gives feedback, does the student get any type of notification that it's been graded?
Yes, it will be up here in the activity log. The activity, here we go, practice 2020, assignment returned, lab, Villi. So in the activity feed, it will notify the student that this has been graded. Okay. Returned, excuse me, it has been returned.
All right, thank you. And I am not, well, hold on one second.
Sure.
Is there anything else from the Q&A moderators that y'all are seeing? All right, and if not, we're going to go ahead and pass it back to Shelley and close this out.
Thanks, Lara, and thanks, Anna. Great job. I learned so much from this one. Thank you. This is definitely our super assessment assignment kind of week. Today we had managing assignments. Tomorrow we have that Power School Sync piece. Lots of you had questions about that. That's tomorrow. And then Thursday is all about Microsoft Teams, the rubrics and feedback components. So hopefully that will tie all of this together for you. It's just about 4 o'clock, so let's go find out who our winner is. Anna, if you would please give us a number.
I love that.
Between 1 and 470. 1 and 470.
Okay, we're going to do the early bird. We're going to do number 12.
Anna, do you have a number for us today?
Number 12. Uh-oh, did that not work?
Did you say something, Anna?
Yes, I did. Number 12.
Wow. Oh, gosh. Wasn't there. All right. Our winner today is Ellen Callahan. So congratulations to Ellen Callahan. She is our winner today of a $10 gift card. So congratulations to you. Before we head out today, we do want to show you one last tip, if I could. I'm going to go ahead and open up my Microsoft Teams, and let's see if you can see my screen in just a second. Let's see if that's happening. All right, great. So if you're taking a look at my screen, over on the bottom left, there's a choice that says help. Lots of you were asking great questions, and you were saying, I wish. Do you know if they have yet? When will they have this feature? And I want to make sure you see this. If you go to help, there's suggest a feature. And I use this a lot. It's a great way to see what features are coming out. And it also gives you a chance to vote on features. Some of your responses we gave you today were go and vote for some features. So you'll see this. I'm going to select continue to use your voice. And as you scroll down, you're going to start seeing some of these options. Look at this one. I know this is a fan favorite. People want more than 4 videos showing during a virtual meeting. They want to have it Zoom-like with more faces. If you want it, you go up and you just select vote, and that will add that one. So integrating assignments with a calendar. So the more votes these get, the faster the Microsoft team starts working on things. This is the fan favorite for me. I want the wait-in lobby for student participants in scheduled meetings. So there's a lot of areas here where you can look through to see what they're working on. The Microsoft team actually puts in there to tell you what their response and their progress is on a few of these. So definitely take advantage of, again, going to your Microsoft Teams, bottom left-hand side, suggesting a feature. and they want to make Microsoft Teams better for you. So just start typing in here and you can get to those categories to find out more. Again, tomorrow we're going to have our feature on Microsoft Teams and PowerSchool Sync. Hope to see you then. That's it for today. Thanks again to our featured presenter, Anna Musselman. Fantastic job. And thanks to our live PD team for helping us out today. See you tomorrow, 3 p.m.